And for 3 hours, the teams were at Sergio's house and also at his workplace. But they never publicly said what they found, if anything. But I do know that they found plenty at Tatiana's house, because at the exact same time that they were going through all of Sergio's things, a group of police officers went to her house to collect evidence from her too. There were so many squad cars on the street. I mean, they had their lights flashing, they had the road blocked off, so much so that some of Tatiana's neighbors thought that something had happened to her, that maybe she had been killed or hurt. Maybe Sergio's murder plan had finally worked out. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. March is a reminder that strength and resilience don't mean doing everything alone. Therapy offers space to reset, reflect, and take care of your emotional well-being, especially when life feels heavy. I've been very honest with you about my therapy journey. I believe it is such a great resource and tool for whoever feels like they need it. I personally use it to check in regularly and just regulate and kind of put myself in check. And BetterHelp connects you with licensed therapists who follow a very strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US. With over 30,000 providers and more than 6 million people served globally, they make it simple to find support that fits your needs. And if your match isn't right for you, that's totally fine. You can switch it anytime. But the truth is, your emotional well-being matters. So find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/AE. That's BETTERHELP.com/AE. Well, the truth was, Tatiana was fine. Better than fine, actually. This was now her opportunity to hand over her Ring camera footage, her clips from her security cameras, and everything else that she had that could prove that she had survived multiple attempts on her life. There might have also been other evidence that she was able to give as well. I'm not sure, because when different reporters reached out to her to ask her what was going on, she just declined to comment. Sergio also stayed silent whenever the press asked him for a statement. All he would say, one way or another, was that he was innocent. Well, then there was a second raid on July 16th, 2024. A huge SWAT team got together outside of his house right before dawn. It was right after 6 a.m. They let him know that they were there, and they told Sergio, look, you need to come out, you need to surrender. Yet Sergio refused. He was not willing to give himself up. Which is really interesting when you break it down, right? Because this whole time he had been on this innocence campaign, saying he was a victim too, he had nothing to do with anything, yet now he's refusing to come out of his house. Well, 3.5 hours went by with no progress either way. Sergio wouldn't come out. The police didn't want to go in and get him. Maybe it was because they weren't sure if he would be armed. They weren't sure if it would be dangerous and it would escalate the situation. But along the way, they started setting off those flashbangs in Sergio's house, just like they had done before. And while all of this was going on, everybody was trying to call Sergio, and they were trying to convince him to just give himself up. And I'm talking professional hostage negotiators. They were calling him, his family, his friends, even the woman who he allegedly had been having that affair with, Nancy. They were all trying to call and reason with him. Sergio was talking to his lawyer through all of this, and at one time, the lawyer went to the police and said that Sergio was willing to turn himself in. He wanted to surrender peacefully. He didn't want to see this whole hostage situation blow up any further and become more intense than it already was. But it's hard to say if that was true, if the lawyer was accurately describing the situation, and if Sergio was being honest about his actual mental state. Because around 10 a.m., after many hours, several loud banging noises came out of the house. They weren't the flashbangs that the police had set off. This was something else. And they were loud enough that everybody could hear them outside. One bystander even caught the noise on camera and tweeted it afterward. The police knew exactly what those sounds meant, exactly what had happened. But still, to be safe, they brought in the fire department and the ambulances. And then everyone went into Sergio's house around 10:20 a.m. The ground floor was empty, so they headed up to the second floor. And there, in Sergio's bedroom, they found him. He was dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. So Sergio took his own life rather than face justice, rather than face the consequences for trying to kill his wife, Tatiana.